Well, thank you, MJ. Thank you, MJ, for doing this.
My pleasure.
Tell us, start off with where you're from, your name, how old you are, and how long you've been a monk.
Okay, my name is MJ, Marlon Jacob. I am, sorry.
Okay. So many bugs. I know.
I'm 28 years old. I'm from Germany. I was born in the UK, but spent most of my life in Germany. And I have been a monk for 6 months now. I had a job as a private chef in the UK, which was fun, but also challenging. And I came to a point where I didn't want to work with this person anymore.
Your client.
My client. So I quit the job, and a couple of days later, my meditation teacher, he told me about this opportunity to go to Thailand and to become a monk for 1 month, just to see what it's like. So I thought, yeah, perfect timing. I'm free. I don't have any responsibilities right now. Why not go for it? And so I did. There is a lot I've learned. I think my main takeaway would be, thank you, would be that I think there is nothing extraordinary to realize. There's not like this special meditative experience that you will have one day and then all of a sudden everything makes sense and you're enlightened. That's not how I see it. I just feel like meditation helps you to see more clearly, to calm down, and to see things as they really are, which is not super exciting. It's not very special, but it is very helpful. And yeah, just learning these techniques of calming myself down when I'm stressed, when I'm overthinking, that is the main takeaway. So I came from a very fundamental family. It was just my mom and me, basically, and then my stepdad.
Same. Well, not stepdad, but yeah.
Yeah. And in my teenage years, I kind of moved away from that. But as life was getting tougher, I tried to find like a ground to stand on, and Christianity is what I knew. But Christianity being so, especially fundamental Christianity, being so rigid and so strict and judgmental towards people who have different ideas, I really wanted to distance myself from that. And also from like all the ceremonies and the Sunday service and that kind of stuff. So Buddhism, I learned about Buddhism and meditation by reading books. So that was my picture of Buddhism. And the way it was presented to me by Thich Nhat Hanh, who does an amazing job of giving you like something digestible as a Westerner. But it was very different from what Buddhism is in the East. And
it's still a doctrine.
It's still a doctrine, but by reading the books, it just seemed very liberating and free, and there was no pressure, there was no dogma. It was just, I liked it. It gave me something to practice and to hold on to without having to be in a church or in a community and without looking down on other people.
You felt that Christianity was kind of looking down on other people?
Yeah, that was my experience. There were a lot of moments, actually.
What was the one that sounded like you the most?
So there's a lot of moments with my mom and some moments in the church. Which are you more interested in?
Yeah.
Both? Or?
Both. I mean, because we both have crazy... My mom is speaking tongues.
Yeah,
my mom spoken tongues.
My mom used to do that kind of stuff.
There's a level of kind of like disassociation with reality, but mentally you could tell she's a functioning member of society, but there's something that is glazed over in the eye.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this is what you're asking for, but an experience that I had almost on a weekly basis when we had like meetings as a group was that people would just talk very like when everyone was always asked to share something about their week when we had the youth meetings, for example. And it was very common for people to just talk really badly about non-Christians and to elevate themselves, to be like, oh yeah, I prayed and I did this and I did all these nice, faithful things. And then the other people in my school or the people at my job, they're doing this and they're doing that. And they're so ungodlike, they're they're so worldly.
Judgmental.
Those people, always got that kind of energy, and I just didn't like it. Like judging everyone, putting everyone in one basket just because they don't believe in Jesus. As long as I was flowing or going with the stream in that church, everything was nice. It was a nice community. We had fun, a nice network. But as soon as I started to question some things and I had doubts, the reaction of the people just showed me that, they weren't really my friends. Because you have to be able to think differently from people, and for them still to respect you and to still value you, for it to be real. Otherwise, you're just in this
cult.
Collective, in this cult.
For me, it was 2007, 6, and then it was like same thing, big round discussion.
Yeah.
And I was still obviously fighting my queerness. Like I was like praying to God, take the. So it was like still, but then one of the other youth leaders said like the topic of like women's rights first came up, and then it happened to like when they're on lesbians and queer people, and how like I was like, and he said that gay people shouldn't be able to adopt because there are molestations. I was like, first of all, that's not true, but so you would have like rather a kid sit in foster care than a queer couple to adopt, which would give them a happy home. And it's like half of the people agreed, and I was like, this is
at my church, everyone would have agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, everyone happened.
Yeah.
It was only the few people that I still keep in contact with today who just kept quiet and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most of the people were like, yeah, no, queer people. And for me in the closet, just like, oh God.
I want to be honest with you. At the time, I also had those kind of views, towards but those were not my views. I did not think about this and came to my own conclusion. That was the view of the church, and I accepted it because I wanted to be a part of the church, which is a really cowardly thing to do. But at the time, that was I don't know, that was what I did.
I guess that's the same thing where a lot of kind of Trump supporters were like anti-trans right now. They're not really thinking. They're part of the community.
Yeah.
And they're so hopeless because America is much more classist than racist now. I mean, it's still pretty racist, but it's like the classist people aren't aware of the classism, so they're voting against trans people. But after trans people, it's like after one marginalized group. I'm gonna say it right. I'm gonna say it now, but America's gonna be. I think with Trump, is either gonna be a civil war, or it's gonna be next Nazi Germany.
I think a lot of people they just struggle with identity, and it's very easy to just take on the group identity, and there's a couple of good things in that group. Okay, I'll take it, and the bad things, just take it as well. This is what happens with in churches, and this is what happens with the people who follow or who vote for Trump.
Has it changed since your Christianity? What is it now?
I don't really believe in God.
You mentioned that. Yeah.
I am agnostic pretty much. So I cannot say with 100% certainty that there is no God. Maybe there is. But it seems to me that if there is, all the proof that we have for his existence is pretty bad. It's mostly books and personal experience. I'm sure there's something that you could call God, but I don't see it as a person. I don't see it as a being. It's more like, maybe you could call the energy of the universe, or life itself, like the force behind life. You could call that God. Or maybe you could call the highest ideal or the highest potential for human beings. That could be God. If we take the best, the highest potential of us as humans, and we imagine a being that has all those characteristics, that would be God. The way I see it now is that all of this whole universe is just happening.
But wait, so you're agnostic.
Now I am, yeah.
Now, but before you weren't. While you were in church, you weren't. You were believed.
When I was in church, yeah. I believed.
But what did you believe? Did you believe that there's a man up there?
I didn't believe that there was like a man in the clouds.
Okay. Then
not like that.
What did you believe?
But I still believe that God was a person, not a human being, but like, and here's the thing, I cannot even make sense of this even if I tried. To be perfectly honest with you, I didn't really question things. I just believed whatever I was told. Because I was, at the time, I was so lost and desperate and lonely. I just wanted to fit in. And people said, yeah, we believe in God. I was like, yeah, okay, I believe in God too. I never really went deeper, like, what is God really? I didn't want to, because I knew if I go there, this whole thing is going to fall apart. But I actually really just wanted to be happy in that illusion.
Human beings, though, we do place, which is so narcissistic in a way, to say that, oh, God is a human being and a person. It comes from.
Yeah.
But then again, I guess it's like.
And we are made in His image.
Yeah. Why His?
What a coincidence.
But I think that comes from the small understanding of what God is.
I agree. I also read somewhere that this whole idea of us being created in God's image and us basically being the center of the universe and like in the Christian faith, it's pretty much like we are the reason why all of this exists, right? Like God made us to have company or something like that because He was alone.
He was bored.
He was bored. So He made us, and everything else around is just part of the game.
Which is
very narcissistic.
Global warming.
Yeah, and this view is very narcissistic to think that you are so important that everything like revolves around you. And
that is a white man who wrote the Bible. I'll tell you that, man. Like, it's mine. That's mine. That's mine. That's mine.
There's a lot of white men who translated it, for sure.
Okay, so what are the biggest differences and what are the biggest similarities?
That's difficult. That's the kind of question that I need to think about and take some notes. But similarities, I think, when it comes to morality itself, there's a lot of common ground.
Homophobia. Yeah, I think what people or Westerners need to kind of like focus on is like the takeaway is that there is going to be corruption both in Buddhism and in Christianity and Catholicism.
Yes, yeah.
And I think the big difference is that in the Western world, like prayer is meditation if you do it correctly.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like Christianity and Catholicism, people are so like, controlled by capitalism and greed that it's like when you're praying, you're like kind of always putting for I and myself and what I want.
Yeah.
But actually, if you're doing it correctly, it's just meditation.
I agree.
And trust me, there is so much corruption in the Buddhist sect.
And I also feel like a lot of people who grow up in Christian countries or countries that are built on or that have Christian history, they're really trying to get away from religion and religious organizations. And they think that Buddhism is not like that, because when you read about Buddhism or you read about mindfulness in the West, they always leave that part out. Because they know that the people don't want to hear that. Exactly. They're not interested in that. But when you come here, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of ceremonies. There's a lot of religious activities. There's a lot of superstition. It's the same thing, just different mask or different. It's different on the outside, but deep down, it's very similar. Christianity is more militant in their approach. They're trying a lot harder to convince you and to get you on their team. And they're using some really messed up strategies to get there.
I just realized Christianity is very little dick energy. Buddhism is BDE. Buddhism is very BDE. Like, I come here.
Yeah.
Christianity is very little dick energy.
Christianity is very.
It's like, we're the best. Like,
we're the best, and you have to be with us, otherwise you'll go to hell and we'll burn you or whatever. Yes. So what I miss most is cooking my own meals, going to the supermarket and just taking care of myself, having that responsibility for my own health, for my living situation, and just having some challenges in life. That's what I really miss.
1 second. I'm not. I was talking to you.
Oh, you were talking to the
It
bug.
landed right on me after I sprayed it. I was like, what? My God.
Yep. Just had to take care of that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Cooking.
Yes. Yeah.
Cooking.
I always loved cooking.
We should cook when we go. Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
I loved cooking as a free time activity. It really calms me down. And it's like a meditation to me. When I decided to go for this, even before, while I was a private chef, I kind of got into minimalism and I just got rid of all of my stuff, which felt very liberating. But looking back, I think this was probably a bit of depression hiding somewhere underneath the surface. It was just losing my identity and losing interest in anything that I enjoyed before. Like there was a time where I enjoyed fashion, I enjoyed my own style, I enjoyed music and movies, and I just lost interest in everything and only really enjoyed meditation and going for walks, which is nice. But yeah, when I came here, I didn't really feel like I had to give anything up because I gave it all up already. Now looking back at it, I feel like I just gave up on myself completely.
It was depression.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm most excited about the bugs, the no bugs.
Yeah.
And a hot shower.
I'm excited about that too.
And not having to put all of this on every time.
Yes. Yeah.
You go.
There's a lot more than cooking for me too.
Yeah.
It's exercising too. Being able
exercise.
Like running.
A lot of straight men, it's really hard for them to. We're like in a loneliness. Not y'all are in a loneliness epidemic.
Yeah.
It's like, and why do you think that is? And why hasn't that happened for you? What was that? I cannot. I'm just Sorry.
I think it also has to do with, I mentioned it earlier, like capitalism, the way the world is evolving. We're just moving away from living in communities and like, yeah, social media plays into it, of course. Somehow we're connected. All of us are connected. The whole world is connected, but we really struggle to connect with the people that are nearby. That's been my experience. Yeah, I experienced a lot of loneliness in my life for sure, definitely. And I have some good friends that I really like, that I really appreciate.
Want to give a shout out to any one of them?
Daniel. That's my brother from another mother.
Hey, Daniel.
Daniel, Sean, Matthew. Yeah.
Wow, a lot of Bible names.
Actually, yeah.
A lot of Bible names.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, bro. Just to know that every religion is just a guideline, and also you don't have, there are exceptions and there are ways to get to enlightenment without, following exact same route that everybody else has to take. But,
I also want to say, be aware of the energy of the group. Like it can really take over your thinking.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that more in depth, but even like both with negative or positive things, you can really lose your individual thinking in the group. Like when everyone says something positive,
that's the same way.
You don't want to.
It happened to you with Christianity, with all the people.
Exactly.
It happens.
Exactly.
People who come here are generally lost and they're looking for something.
Yeah.
And when they find any sort of inkling of that, is like, then they're not willing to let it go, even though when they know that it's wrong or not the truth. And sadly, people are desperate.
Yeah.
People aren't desperate for the truth. They're desperate to find meaning in what happened to them. They're desperate.
They want to find an answer, not a good one.
They
just
want
an
to
answer.
find, not the truth, they want to find an answer to justify whatever
Yes, yeah.
it is, whether it be a single mom or falling into, Christianity,
Yeah.
or a drug addict,
Or
becoming,
Trump.
or a Trump supporter. Who's anti-trans. Like, people just want to find a meaning and a hope to why things are the way they are, because it's so the world seems very hopeless. But when you're not willing to look at the truth and have hope to find the truth, then all is lost. You have to always know that there is something that it could be better than what it is, and not at the expense of stepping on anybody else. We could all get there together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Because after trans liberation, it's not just trans, it's actually every liberation. You see them being free and happy, even with all the things against them, is that they see that, oh, what did they have that I don't have? The Trump, or, the breeders, as I call them, no offense to you. The breeders, it's like, oh, how was this person born in the wrong body, not, passing, bullied? How are they so happy? How are they so liberated? And it's like, why can't I have that? Okay, they must have something.
Yeah.
And then they want to attack them. And it's just, no.
Yeah.
It's just, we have to be, Anywho.
Yeah, that is
This is becoming queer-coded again, and I want to divulge from making
but the human mind just in general is very interesting. And I just look forward to studying it more, understanding myself more, and I don't know. I feel like when you accept the bad answer just to satisfy that or to get rid of that fear about uncertainty, you take away so many possibilities for growth. Because that pain, that suffering that comes from that, the uncertainty, and overcoming it, like still moving forward, still living life, even though you may not understand the whole purpose of it, that can build a lot of strength, I think, and resilience and character. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. But I don't think anybody ever has it figured out.
No, the way I see this, you give your own meaning to life.
Yeah.
And I know people. Of that. Exactly.
Yeah.
And people have figured that out. Some people are doing that and they're happy, right? And this can be, so many different things.
Okay, let's end on that.
Yeah.
Or is that
that's a good.
You want to say?
No, that's a good.
Yeah.
The way to end it.
Always making something. Oh my God, we're right in my eye. Oh my God.
For it. Oh my head.
You have to do it. There's all over you. You have to do it. As a Buddhist monk, we can't technically.
We're not supposed to. We're not supposed to.
Oh my God.
We clap them away.
Oh my God! I just.